Hello everybody, it's Crystal. Welcome to my channel. Let's talk about this beautiful, absolutely stunning, gorgeous, magnificent blanket right here. Now I speak so highly of it because this is made with the Houndstooth stitch, and the Houndstooth is in my top 5 favorite stitches of all time, only when it's done in black and white. Very classy. This is a very, very pretty blanket. So why don't we go ahead and have a look at it. So this is done with the classic Houndstooth in black and white Houndstooth. It's a very, very easy stitch to do. It's a 1 row repeat. You can make this, and my gosh, it will lighten up a room. Everybody will be talking about it. I'm serious. This is a beautiful blanket, and it has a very, of course, what goes better with black and white but red? It has a very pretty, roughly a shell edging, as you can see. So none of this at all is hard. It's absolutely magnificent. I'm going to show you how it's done. So I'm going to show you a little bit more about the shell edging. If you look at it, you can see that there's like some chains here and then some large shells. It's actually relatively easy. They are quite close together, which gives it that roughly appearance, which I absolutely think is beautiful. Now, when we speak of the Houndstooth stitch, so this is done in black and white. Now, there is one side that would be more prominent in black. Now, like this one right here. Now, if I was to switch sides, you would notice that the white is more prominent than the black. Do you see what I'm talking about? So it really depends on which side you like. They're both gorgeous. What you see in the picture, I have the more prominent black color in the picture facing upward, because that is makes the shells are facing upward in that direction. But like I said, it's kind of neat how one side's more black, and if you flip it, you know, the white stands out more on the other, black stands out more on this side. But you know, like I said, it's just an absolutely gorgeous blanket. I super love this. It's I can't speak highly enough of it. I mean I'm a big fan of the Houndstooth. All right, so why don't we talk a little bit about this blanket? I mean, this is a must-have. Anybody would want this for their home. Anybody would want this as a gift. I mean, you can't beat it. I know I'm talking extremely highly of it, but I tell you no lies. Houndstooth is such a classic stitch, and when it's done in black and white like this, it just lightens. I mean, it just is a focal point of a room. Throw this over a chair or something, it's so beautiful. Now, but it doesn't have to be done in black and white, of course, but that's just my favorite. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this beauty to the side because I've spoken so highly of it. I'm going to set it over here. And we'll go ahead and talk about the yarn that I used in the size of the Afghan and whatnot like that. So that particular Afghan measures 56, now this is including the border, 56 wide and approximately 62 inches tall. So it's a nice size blanket, throw, Afghan, whatever you call it. And we'll talk about the yarn that was used for this particular blanket. Now, you don't have to use this yarn. Of course you don't have to use this yarn. So I used Lion Brand Basic Stitch Anti-Peeling, which is a 100% acrylic yarn. It is a medium weight number 4. It's a very nice yarn. I like this yarn. So of course I used black, and I used their white, and the red I don't have. I'm sorry, but the color name is called Red Heather. So that was what I used for the border. Now, as for the amount that you will need, if you're wanting to, remember, you don't have to use this yarn. Any 4-weight yarn will work. You can actually use any weight that you want, because I will give you the chain multiple, and you can make it any size that you want. So, but following along with me, let's see. We went through 7 balls, well, almost 7 balls of the white. So approximately 1,300 yards of white, or one color. And then the black was a little bit less because we did border it with this one, so it took a little bit more. You're gonna need about 6 balls of the black, or approximately 1,100 yards of whatever other color that you're going to be using. And then for the red, which was only used for the border of the blanket, about 3.5 balls, so around 850 yards of yarn for the border. All right. Now remember, this is a 4-weight 100% acrylic yarn. It's a very nice yarn. I like it a lot. Hook size, we are going to be using a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So you guys ready to get started? All right, I'm just going to show you with the black and white because it's that easy, and I know you'll be able to do it. It's super, super easy. So if you want to follow along with me, you want to do a starting chain of 137 stitches. Or you can make a starting chain in any odd number of stitches. So you start out with a slip knot on your hook. Following along with me, you would chain 137 stitches. Of course, I'm going to show you on a smaller scale, or the multiple is any odd number of stitches. All right, so once you get your 137, if you're following along with me, what we're going to do is do a single crochet in the second chain from our hook. And then we're going to do a double crochet into the next. This is how easy this is. And now we're going to start the repeat. Single crochet into the next, and double crochet into the next. Single crochet into the next, and double crochet into the next. And this is what we're going to repeat until we get to the end of the row. It's just a single crochet, double crochet, repeat all the way until you get to the end of row 1. Single and double. Single, double, single, double, and I'll meet back up with you at the end. All right, so I'm coming to the end of the row. I just did a single and I have 1 stitch left. So your last stitch will always be a double crochet. And you'll have 136 stitches across from now on. So we're going to switch colors though here at the end of the row. So what I'm going to do is yarn over like I'm going to be doing my double crochet. And I'm going to go into the last stitch and I'm going to draw up a loop. And I'm going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on my hook. Now what I'm going to do is drop my white yarn and I'm going to bring in my black and I'm going to pull it through the 2 remaining loops. Now I'm going to lay this down, and on the back I'm going to take the tail of my black and tie it to my white. Now do not clip off that white, okay? We're going to be running with the white and the black at the same time. That way we don't have a bunch of tails to hide. Okay, so we got that there. It's secure. Now row 2 is the repeat row of the whole design. We just switch colors at the end of every row. So I'm going to be carrying my white along with me while I work with the black. So what I'm going to do is chain 1 and turn my work. So I am going to start, I'm going to bring my white around, see? And I'm going to carry it and I'm going to crochet it like you know, when you hide a tail by crocheting it in, that's what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to keep it up here, and as I crochet across with my black, I'm going to hide that white. So in the very first stitch here, I'm going to single crochet. And then the next stitch, I'm going to double crochet. And that is going to be the repeat for this row. The next stitch, I'm going to single crochet. And the next stitch, I'm going to double crochet. Now if you look at me, I'm carrying my white along with me. See, it's right here. I'm just hiding it as I go. So I'm just going to do the single crochet in one stitch and double into the next all the way till I get near the end of my row. So easy. Sorry I got a little excited there in the beginning. I just love the Houndstooth done in black and white and trimmed in red. Oh my gosh, there's almost nothing prettier. That is so beautiful. I guess I got a little too excited about it. I'm sorry. So single into the next. Keep carrying your white with you like you're hiding the tail, but we're going to carry it all the way to the end. And then double into the next. Single, double, all the way until we get to the end of the row. I still got that white tagging along, so I'll meet up with you at the last stitch of the row. All right, I'm coming to the end of the row, and again, your last stitch, you should always end in a double crochet, okay? And I'm going to switch colors here. I'm going to go back to my white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do my double crochet into the last stitch, but I'm going to stop halfway through. So I'm going to draw up a loop in the black and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. I'm going to drop that black, pull up my white that I've been carrying along. A good thing is to give it a little bit of a tug like this so you don't have any loose hangings there on the other side. Looks pretty good. And go ahead and pull that black down, pull that white through, and there we go. We're ready to repeat row 2 in the white. And we're going to carry the black along this time. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. I'm going to put my black around the front of my work, and I'm going to hide it just like I hid the white. I'm going to carry it along, right along with me, because no one wants 100,000 tails to hide. Well, I don't anyways. So again, we start every row with a single crochet, and we end every row with a double. So single, and then the next stitch, double, single, and then the next stitch, double. I know that black is hard to see, but it's so easy to do. And see, I'm carrying this black with me right along, so I'm hiding it as I go, doing my single crochet, double crochet, repeat all the way across. I'm just repeating row 2, and that's all I'm ever going to repeat for the length of the blanket till I get it as big as I want it to be. I'm just going to be switching colors every row and carrying along the color that I'm not using for the purpose of me not wanting to hide a million tails. Plus, it's just easier this way. I kind of tug on it every once in a while, you know, so like I said, so you don't get bunches of the color that you're carrying. Single, double, single, double, single, double. So easy, so pretty. This is one of the most easiest and beautiful stitches. Well, I guess everybody has their own opinion, but for me, it's very hard. It's a stitch that's hard to beat, especially done in black and white. Alright, I'm going to repeat this until I get to the end of the row. Remember, I'm just single crocheting and double crocheting, single crochet and double. Carrying my black along with me as I go, and every so often, I just give it a little tug, the black, or whatever color I'm carrying. That way it don't bunch up. I'll meet you at the end. Here I am at the end. My last stitch is going to be a double crochet. So I'm going to go and do my double crochet halfway with the white. So pull up, go through the first two. I'm going to drop my white that I drop my white and pick up the black that I carried all the way through and pull it through the remaining 2 loops, and I'm ready to start again, repeating the same row. I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to bring my white around, and I'm going to carry my white and hide it underneath the black. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to keep doing this, repeating this until we get it as tall as we want it to be. And remember, you always start every row with a single crochet, and you always end every row with a double crochet. And that's where you change colors and carry your color with you. Single, double, carrying my white, as you can see. That way we don't have, like I said, it's just easier this way. So I'm going to keep going here for a while. Until I get my project a little bit bigger. I don't know why that white keeps coming up through there. Sorry about that. I'm just excited. Alright, just keep repeating the rows. That one, row 2, it's the same row we've been doing. As you can see, it's starting to take place. The black's a little more prominent on this side versus this side, which is cool. I like that about the Houndstooth. So just keep repeating that row 2, switching colors back and forth, back and forth. Alright, and remember to always carry your yarn, whichever one you're not using, along with you, and every so often give it a little tug so it doesn't bunch up there while you're carrying it. Alright, so I'm just going to show you on a small swatch because it's such an easy stitch and the border is so easy, you're going to be able to do it. So the blanket that you see in the video has a total of 138 rows, ending on a white row and beginning on a white row. Alright, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. If not, you know, it's okay. So I'm coming to the end of the row here, and I have a double crochet to put on my last row. I'm not going to bring my black in. So you got your 138 rows done. I'm just going to go ahead and do a single crochet or a double crochet at the end like normal. Alright, now what we can do is clip that black yarn off because we ain't gonna need it anymore. Sorry, I had to use a box cutter because I can't find my scissors. Alright, so we're done with that black. We don't need it anymore. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go around our whole blanket. Remember, your blanket's going to be huge. Mine's just a sample. We're going to do a nice border of single crochet before, or a nice blanket. I call this blanket edging. A nice single crochet edge along the blanket so we can do a nice border. So what we're going to do is we are going to evenly work down. I'm going to chain 1. I'm keeping the white. I'm going to go all around in white, okay? And I'm going to evenly space out my single crochets the best that I can all the way around the blanket. But there is a catch. You need to have an even number of stitches. An even number of single crochets all the way around your blanket. So if you want to keep track as you're going, see, I'm kind of just doing my best here on the sides. The sides are going to be the hardest to evenly space out some single crochets. Like I said, it's going to be kind of tight going through there because, you know, we carried the yarn with us and whatnot, but just do your best to evenly space out single crochets along the side of your blanket. Okay. And then what we're going to do when we get to the corners, we're going to put 4 single crochets into each corner stitch. So I'm just going to go in a corner and I'll work, if I can find the corner here, right here. I'm going to work 4 single crochets all into that corner stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you just work along the bottom, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. You can kind of hide your tails as you go. This is going to give us a nice clean edge that we can start our border on. Oh, that black. Get out of there. All right. So continue across the bottom here, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until you make it to the next corner down here, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. All right, you make it to the corner here at the end, and you want to put 4 single crochets in the corner. I already got 1. Here's 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to start working up the side again. And these are going to be a little bit difficult because, you know, you carry the yarn, so it's kind of like, you know, knotted over, I guess, a little bit. But just do the best you can to evenly space out your single crochets. It doesn't have to be perfect. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. It's handmade. Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to have your best effort put into it, and then it will be wonderful. Yeah, those sides are a little bit tough carrying that yarn to get through. Alright, now when you make it to the corner at the top, right up here, 4 single crochets into that stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to go across the top, which would be pretty easy to see those stitches. Working 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to the last stitch of your row, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. Okay, so I made it to my last stitch where I would put 4 single crochets into it, but what you want to do first is you want to go around and you want to count all your single crochets because you need to have an even number here. Now this is our last stitch. This guy right here does not count as a stitch. That is the chain 1. All right, so your first single crochet is right here. Now I counted mine, and if I put 4 single crochets into my last stitch, I will have an odd number. I don't want an odd number, so I'm only going to put 3 single crochets into my last stitch. That way I will have an even number. Now if you count it all the way around and you have an even number, right on, go ahead and put your 4 single crochets into your last stitch. And then what we're going to do is skip this chain 1 and slip stitch into that first single crochet like that. And then we're going to tie this off and hide that tail, and we are finito with the whites. All right, so now if you take a quick look, it gives you a little bit, I got some tails that need to be clipped, but anyways, it gives you a little bit more even now of a base to start working your border. So I don't have the exact red that I used or that was used for that blanket, so we're just going to use a different red. Now you can start in any stitch that you want, any stitch that you want. I'm kind of just going to start over here in a corner, any corner stitch, all right? Doesn't matter. And I'm going to go ahead and pull, this would be row 1 of the border. Pull my yarn through like that. And I am going to chain 1, and I'm going to go back into the same stitch and single crochet like that. Now I'm going to do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go in the next stitch and single crochet. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. I'm going to chain 3, go into the next stitch, and single crochet. Chain 3, go into the very next stitch, and single crochet. So we're not skipping any stitches. This is what makes a border ruffly. Chain 3 and single crochet into the next. Now I'm going to repeat this pattern of chain 3 and single crocheting into the next all the way around my entire blanket until I get back to my starting point, which would be right over here. So chain 3 and single into the next, chain 3 and single into the next. I'm going to continue that around the corners all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you at our starting point. Alright, so I'm come to the end of row 1 of our border. I'm going to show you how we're going to end the row. I just single crocheted my last stitch. What I need to do is get over in this chain space right here. So what I'm going to do is chain 1, and then I'm going to half double crochet into the chain space. Like that. And now I'm going to start my next round right here in this space. And I'm going to do the same thing that we just did. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to go back into this chain space. I'm going to single crochet. And then I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to jump to the next chain space. I'm going to single crochet into it. And then I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to jump right here to the next chain space. I'm going to single crochet and chain 3. The next chain space, single crochet and chain 3. Again, the next chain space, just go right through it, single crochet and chain 3. We're going to continue this all the way around. It's pretty much like our last row. Single crochet into the next chain space, chain 3, single crochet into the next chain space and chain 3. Going to continue this all the way around until we make it back to our starting point. Single crocheting and chain 3, single crocheting into the chain space and chain 3, and I'll meet back up with you when we get back over here to our starting point. All right, I am coming to the end of row 2 of our border, and I'm going to do the same thing. So you can see I just single crocheted in my last chain space. I need to get up to here, so I'm going to chain 1 and half double into the chain space. Like that. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to repeat it again. So right back in this space here that we just half double crocheted into, we're going to chain 1, go back in through the space and single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3 and go to the next chain space right here and single crochet. Chain 3, single crochet into the next chain space. Chain 3, single crochet in the next chain space. So for row 3, we're just repeating what we did on row 2 of the border. Single crocheting in the chain space and chaining 3, single crocheting into the chain space and chaining 3. We're going to work this all the way around, and I will meet back up with you when we make it back to our starting point. Okay, I'm coming to the end of row 3 here, and we're going to end it the same way. So here I am, single crocheted at my last chain space, because you can see that this is where we started. I'm going to chain 1, half double into the chain space, and that'll end row 3 of our border. One more row. Now we're going to do row 4, which is where we're going to do shells. And this is quite a ruffly border. I love the ruffly border. All right, so we're gonna do shells now. This row, this is row 4, and it'll be the final repeat, or the final row, I'm sorry, of our border. So we're gonna chain 1. We're gonna go back into the same spot here and single crochet. Now what we're gonna do is jump to the next chain space, and we're gonna work 9 double crochets into that chain space. 9. So it's a shell. It's a 9 double crochet shell. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, this is going to give us more ruffles. Now we're going to single crochet into the next chain space, and that's going to be our repeat all the way around. We're going to shell into the next chain space, which is 9 double crochets. And then we're going to single crochet into the next chain space. And this is what we're going to repeat. Shell into the next chain space, which is 9 doubles. And single crochet into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I make it here to my starting point. Alright, so I'm coming here to the end, and I should have shelled in my last chain space. And if you look right here, this is our first chain space because we put a single crochet into it. Remember that? It's just kind of over to the side a little bit. So you should have a shell on your last one, and here's the first one with a single crochet. Slip stitch into that single crochet. Tie off. High tails, and you are done with that. Beautiful, beautiful, ruffly edging. That took a long time to do. All right, now like I said, I did use a different color red that I found to be much brighter. But yeah, this is what it looks like once you're finished. Now, I will say, if you don't like the ruffle border, which I absolutely adore it, but if you don't like it, you can do any type of border that you want. You know, you don't even have to, you know, use any colors that you want for this. This is your blanket, you know. I'm just showing you how to make it. You make it to your likings, okay? This is to my likings. This is Bagoday all the way, okay? But if you don't like it, do a different border. I got plenty of border blankets with different kinds of borders on my channel that you can use, or, you know, look up other borders on YouTube and see what you think about that. Maybe the ruffle just isn't you. The ruffle's me, but you know what? We're all different, and that's what makes everything so unique, and everybody unique in their own way. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I, again, cannot rave enough about how beautiful this blanket is, and I hope that you think it's pretty as well. And I cannot wait to see yours and see what colors you choose. See if you go with the classic black and white, or maybe you're going to use some different colors. See if you go with the kind of border that I did, or I'm going to see if you use a different border. You know, the sky's the limit. You do whatever you want. I just kind of show you the way. From there, your imagination can take you anywhere. So I will see you guys on my next video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and like and leave me a comment below, okay? Bye, guys.